Well, hello, all you ghouls, goblins, ghosts, and all sorts of supernatural creatures in between. My name is Kaleb Wade, and I am about to take you on a journey to the past, in a way. But first, an update of how we've been. Hi, I've been okay. My mental health has actually been much better. And I am currently in college trying to get a certificate to become a psychiatric mental health technician. It's been a hard road trying to take two classes at a time with my job and whatnot, and being moved to the weekend shift. But hey, life throws you curveballs, and I'm just trying to figure it all out as I go along. We've already settled our cast for season 4, which we will be using Voidheart Symphony to play, and it's going to be an exploration of what came before this podcast in the same universe, and I hope y'all will enjoy. You all will. I hope you'll enjoy. Sorry, this intro's a mess. I haven't done this in a while. But to explain this, so back in 2022, I gathered a group of illustrious players to play a Demigods PBTA one shot. It was our Halloween one shot, but the one that kind of moved forward was the Monster Hearts one shot, and these audio files have been sort of sitting in my collection for like 2 years. I didn't know what I was gonna do with them. They just never got edited, and I figured, you know what? Why not just put it out there and see what happens for Halloween this year for 2024? That way we don't have to record an episode like tomorrow for a Halloween thing. Because, getting people together across time zones is really freaking hard, okay? Uh, I'm starting beef with the imaginary audience member that I have beef with to defend myself again, aren't I? Anyway, this will be presented without music or sound effects, with basic editing so that it will be out on time. So, for those who are celebrating Halloween, for costume parties or nights out, please be safe. If you have children, check your children's candy. If you're staying in, much like myself, find some nice, cool, spooky things to watch. I've never watched Over the Garden Wall, but I feel like that's been more like autumnal. I wonder how it is. Maybe I'll convince my boyfriend to watch it with me. Anyway, please enjoy our Demigods PBTA one shot, or an exploration of grief through a house made into a haunted house. Bye, everybody. Unpleasant dream. No, I can't say that. No. Spooky tidings. Hello, and welcome to this creme demented actual plays one shot of Demigods called Being a Nocturnal Soul. My name is Kaleb Wade. I will be your herald this evening due to the terminology of the game. And with me, I have two lovely individuals who have given me their time for this ooky spooky adventure in an ooky spooky cul-de-sac. Let's start with a voice you have not heard on the podcast yet, Lola.
Hi everyone, I'm Lola, pronouns they, them, and I play most often for Roll Together RPG, and I'm playing 12 Occult Eye for Lord of Tales. And today I will be playing Amaros, pronouns they, he, and yeah, let me pass you over to Angela and what?
Hello there, lovelies. It's an absolute pleasure to be here recording with Caleb once again, and also to be playing with a lovely new featured person for Creme Demented. If you do not know who I am, my name is Angela Lemos Morvejo. I use she, her pronouns, and I will be playing Morgan, who also uses she, her pronouns.
So, it's spooky season. It's Halloween. It's those moments when we were kids. There was always those moments where you know that Halloween is coming. You know that everyone's got their decorations out. They've got carved pumpkins out. Some people have those carved pumpkins out until December. Maybe sometimes spooky season never stops for some people. You two demigods who have been traveling together for a long time. How long? We don't necessarily know. Maybe we'll find out, maybe we won't. You two come across this cul-de-sac on your travels, like this big old road trip across the United States in the small suburb of, oh gosh, Funeral Pines, USA. It gets a lot of heck for the name. We see the camera sort of like pans over, like it's very like this Ed and Eddie cul-de-sac. Like it's just like these rows of houses in like this curved street, like kids playing, kids running around with bags of candy. Tell me, what brought you to this cul-de-sac?
I
Did,
think that um, perhaps Amaros had some work that they'd been working on something and they were supposed to deliver it here, but other than that, I don't know. They the person that they came to meet hasn't shown up.
yes, Mr. Belvedere ordered something rather special from you. It's this sort of like very intricate locket that he wanted made in memory of his deceased partner that he wanted to give to his grandson. Mr. Belvedere is a bit older in years. Uh, he was hoping that you would come and stop by his house for maybe a bit of cider, maybe a bit of candy for Halloween, and the delivery could happen. But he did say that he was sending his grandson to come meet you and lead you to the house, and no one has shown.
I I could have sworn that it, they get out kind of like rummage in there. Huge, well, not huge on the outside, but definitely contains a lot more than one would expect on the inside. Bag and kind of pull out this very intricate clock face and just kind of look at it because who needs digital clocks? Who wants them? But and it's like, yeah, well, I could have sworn that it, it should have been now that we were being met.
Lola, could you describe what Amaros looks like for our
Yeah.
audio
So
audience?
yes, of course. So Amaros is this very tall, very willowy, um, like person with dark brown skin and has this really big kind of layered mane of locks that is in often in different colors and they kind of shot through with little hints of thread and everything else. They tend to wear jumpsuits more often than not because it's just one piece of clothing and that's really easy to throw on. And like spending less time on clothing is very much Amaros' style. But yeah, that's Amaros. Oh, I mean, also attached to them, they kind of have like little. Um, think of them like this kind of slightly madcap no, inventor with lots of little bejangles and tchotchkes hanging off and out of little pockets in this many pocketed jumpsuit and this kind of bag at their hip.
So this jumpsuited this jumpsuited youth pulls out this huge ass clock like I I think we're on time. And turning back to look at their companion, Angela, could you describe what Morgan looks like?
I would be happy to. Morgan is uh kind of a very goth stereotype in a certain sense, in that she has like fishnets that she's kind of wearing, like fishnet kind of like thigh high, like leggings that she's kind of wearing up. She's got like a cute kind of like black dress on, and is she has a cute black dress on uh that's kind of, it's doing a lot for her figure. She kind of wears and approaches things like
Mm-hmm.
with a certain sense of like, I both don't care about my the way that I look, but also I'm probably always looking hot because I put in a tiny bit of effort. She kind of has very she has a little like wings for eye makeup. She's, while she is like a deep brown skinned woman, she definitely has like kind of pale makeup on, and she looks like if you made a much more Mexican version of Death from the Sandman comics. But she
I
has
know
an
that's right.
asymmetrical bob haircut, and she has two things that kind of stand out for her, which is her hair always has a dual tone of black and white through it. It almost looks like there's, at some points when you look at it, it's a cut right down the middle, and other days you look at it, it looks like it's swirling throughout. And then her clothes, no matter what she wears, it always looks like there's smears on it that look like blood. And she's always washed her clothes. She always tries to like work with them, and now she's just like, this is just gonna be part of my look. This is, the rest of you will deal with this.
Oh, I'm an artist. I'm an artist.
I didn't
but
kill
as the
anybody
two of
today.
you but as the two of you are like, well, we were supposed to meet this man's grandson. He's not here. We hear the sound of running behind you two as someone catches up. Theta, would you like to introduce yourself and your character?
Yeah, hi. Yeah. So you kind of see this, I guess, not particularly tall, not particularly short, probably about 5'4" ish person, just like, I guess I'm saying person, we're just gonna go with person. I can pick another term, but we're gonna go with person. Just full on sprinting across the floor. They look harried and distressed, but still fairly like cleanly put together. Um, and they've got like their hair is pulled back up into like a bun, just kind of on the side, tied with ribbons. And they're wearing like very loose, flowy pants that have like slits kind of around just above the knee and downwards. Um, and they're wearing kind of like a cheongsam top, but it's not like it's kind of boxily cut. And on top of that, they have like a cardigan that's half falling off as they just sprint across the floor, um, very clearly like, I was meant to be here, and something happened. Something happened. Uh, and they've kind of got just, and they, I think, catch up and just put their hands on their knees and go, "Whew. Hi, hi."
Theta, if you could put your character name and pronouns in the username as well, that'd be lovely. I'll edit this part out.
Yes. Um,
Oh, it's good to see you. I I'm sorry that we left without you, but we were a tad short on time.
no, yeah, I absolutely get it. Sorry. Whew, there was a disaster. There was traffic. We're gonna go with traffic this morning. Um, Hi, I'm Amara. We've met, I think, like one time.
I like to think that Amara has met these two several times.
I also
Probably.
think that.
And it's probably even staying in the hotel that they are in on like a
Possibly.
different floor. And both of you know that not even a hotel, more like a motel, because this is like this little cul-de-sac is called Funeral Pines. Uh there was no traffic.
No, something Amara clearly something happened. Amara is not gonna talk about it. They're like things happened at some point.
I,
What
I
happened?
I just imagine that Amara was like, okay, I gotta get ready. I gotta meet these other demigods. What do you mean, Dead End Paranormal Park got a season 2? Wait, it just sat down and sat through like 5 episodes. Like, oh no, I'm late.
Real story.
I,
The reason I was late is because today's the regeneration episode of Doctor Who, and I might have gone distracted by that.
It happens. So I would
I
say
think
like
this
the
is
three
very
of you.
typical.
Yeah, I think the three of you catch up. Like Amaros and Morgan are supposed to meet this grandson of a Mr. Bovadier. Because Mr. Bovadier asked Amaros to build something very intricate and very personal. Uh, they're supposed to deliver it, but the grandson has not shown up. And I want to say it's been about 20 minutes now of like 20 minutes for Amaros and Morgan, a smooth 5 for Amara. Just
I think Amara, within that period of time, has also fully like somehow gotten a hold of coffee and poured like 15 packets of sugar in it, and like, but it's like a double espresso over coffee too.
I love
Clearly,
how I love how there are character beats that transcend seasons. Angela has an asymmetrical bob, and Theta has coffee.
I have Fun fact: Theta does not like coffee, so I keep playing characters who drink coffee. I don't drink coffee.
I'm
So
just
as
gay.
you
That's why
all
I
are
always have a bob
looking
haircut for my characters.
as you all are looking around and trying to search and see where this grandson is, are there any moves you would like to make? Are there any like what do y'all want to do? This trio of demigods in this dead end cul-de-sac called Funeral Pines.
Oh, um,
I was wondering if it would be possible. I think there's a moment of thinking it over, and
Mm-hmm.
I think Morgan is like, I don't like. I know most people in our circles tend to be a little bit late, anyways, but I'm kind of curious. And she sort of, like, I think she carries like a purse with her. I was about to say messenger bag, then I remembered. Oh wait, I'm a woman. I could have a purse. It's even better. I don't have to pretend like it's not a purse.
You
I can
can
just
just
have a
have a
purse.
purse.
It's great. Uh, but she pulls out um it I think it looks like a combination of just like a bullet point journal and like the evil like book from the Evil Dead series, the like the
The
literal
Necronomicon.
Necronomicon. Yeah, she pulls out something that looks like a cross between the two of those because this is her own
Mm-hmm.
personal book of the dead that allows her. It's part of what keeps her tied to her sort of deific abilities and such. It kind of acts like a focus for her, not because it has all her powers, but just because it helps her psychologically feel like I have a thing. This keeps me grounded, and I think she's just gonna take a look around and help focus herself. And I was wondering if it'd be possible to pierce the veil in
Go
regards
right ahead
to
and pierce that veil.
our yeah, in regards to our mysterious individual, our charming patron's current state, because Morgan's feeling a little on edge about
yeah.
this
If you
whole
weren't gonna
thing.
ask, I was gonna ask.
Yeah, one of us was
That
going to
is
ask,
2d6
considering this whole
plus
thing.
judgment.
Yeah, because
Yep.
I can roll with fate's favor.
She. So that
I
is
mean,
a
both
10
of
on
you
the
can
dice
roll.
plus
I
2.
can give you two different answers.
That's true. I think Amara is also probably gonna try to look into it because they are incredibly curious. They've been here for 5 minutes, but they are clearly somebody who does not like to wait to do anything. Uh, Shown by the coffee and the running from place to place. They theoretically could have walked. I think they or like taken a car or something. I think they ran all the way here because they're insane. Um, I will wait too much.
Um,
I believe in you.
Caleb. So while Theta works that out, I rolled 12. So,
Okay.
uh, so with 12, there are that result. It's 10 plus. So ask 3 questions. So I'll go with the following. Um, what happened to the grandson recently? Do we have a sense of something that's a little bit off about the area that would suggest news about them?
Okay. As you're looking around with your Book of the Dead and you're trying to search for this grandson, you notice a house that, upon a bit of closer expansion, yeah, upon a bit of closer investigation, has like the mailbox that says Belvedere, like on it. And as you look at this house, some sort of strange twisting. It's a mix between fate itself and magic. Something is working within that house. So if the grandson was supposed to meet you and was in that house, mayhaps he was caught up in all of that.
Hmm, interesting. So that's the first question. I think the second one is noticing that he is caught up in that place. What is the greatest danger with that place that I'm seeing from the outside? I think that seems like a good limited scope of it because we're not in it. So from the outside seems the most
No, you're
dangerous
not.
or unnerving about it?
Uh, the fact that whatever magic is within is powerful enough to bend the tides of fate and reality, that's pretty freaking dangerous. And it's used, and you can tell this over the course of your adventures. It's used in a way that whoever is inside knows exactly what they're doing. There's a practice to it, there's a skill with it. And I don't know if that's reassuring or more terrifying.
And I suppose a good substitute question for the third one, do I have a sense how recently this might have occurred to the household?
This has been within the past hour.
Oh, that is not
Mm-hmm.
good.
It's very
I
recent.
think she will express all of that, and she will very much be a little bit on edge. She's I think a good way to think about Morgan in terms of most situations is that she tends to project a certain air of casual coolness, but most people who know her close know that she's mostly anxious all the fucking time. She's just trying to be like, no, it's whatever. It's fine. It's not too big. It is a big deal. I'm worrying about it all the time.
Amara, what did you get with your roll?
I got a 14.
So you can ask 6 freaking questions. But oh wait,
No, I think I can only ask.
you can only ask
I can ask 3 because I don't
you
have
can ask
godlike.
3 because you don't have that godlike advancement. Whoopsie.
Yeah, I don't have godlike. Uh, the thing is, I get to roll with a +2, and I get to roll 3 times on this
Yeah,
tricky,
it's
too much.
3d6 and you take the two highest because fate's
No, and then I
favor.
get to add 2 on top of that because
Yeah,
yeah.
gosh golly.
Yeah.
So, what are your 3 questions?
I think so. Wait, what is it that we know again?
The house itself is the center point for some very strong, very practiced, and very skilled reality warping magic. The
Mm-hmm.
grandson might be in the center of this, and so might Mr. Bovadier by association. And
Okay.
whoever is doing it knows exactly what they're doing.
Can I try and trace back where the reality warping magic is coming from? Can I be like, where did this magic come from? Because it does say thing.
You can. It seems to be centered on an upstairs bedroom.
Okay. Uh, when did it occur?
Oh, within the last hour.
Within the last hour. This feels like a waste of a question, but we're still gonna try. What is the greatest danger with the reality warping magic itself? Or is it like, I guess I'm trying to get a read on the danger of it.
Ooh, here's a different answer for you. It might blind your sight.
That's rude, but okay.
Because Amara is a celestial, yes?
Yeah, Mars. A celestial.
Amara looks at the Alexa and goes, Alexa, play Cassandra by Florence and the Machine.
I can see.
It may block if you have the ability to look into the weird and the magical of this world to divine some sort of future. The very nature of this place could dampen or mess with that.
I actually don't. Ironically, I took Read the Stars, Fight Smarter, and then Black Hole Stun, so...
That tracks so wholeheartedly for you.
Because I needed utility, so I needed to utilize... Like, I needed utility across the board.
Fair enough.
But I can fuck people's brain up, so... That actually might be worse in this place. It's fine. It's fine.
So, do both of you feed back the information you gleaned to Amaros?
Yeah, Amara, I think, just kind of rambles it out while stirring the coffee, because I think they're trying to use the coffee as a way to see.
I know, that's right. Necronomicons, coffee cups. Let's go.
They're divining the future in a cup of coffee, essentially, is what's happening here.
The two sides of supernatural perspectives, Necronomicon and a coffee cup.
The two genders, Necronomicon and coffee.
Yep, love that.
One of these is traditional, and one of these is just pure crack energy magic, is what's happening.
So the coffee is pure crack energy magic.
Obviously! I that coffee had 2 shots of espresso and like 15 packets of sugar. Yeah. That is literally possibly crack at this point.
Amara's hand is shaking as they're stirring the coffee.
So to answer your
yes,
question,
Amaros,
yes.
you do have that information.
So, just above the table,
Yeah.
if I was to pull out like a little flying device thing and be like, let's go into the machine and see if I can take a look at what's happening in that room.
You can definitely try.
Cool? Yeah.
You can definitely try.
Okay. Well, in that case, Amaros will go, and then kind of reach into and do more rumbling in the bag, and there's noises as if a lot more is kind of moving around and banging against each other.
Like a kid hears the noises and sort of like stares at you 3 for a second before running off.
Yeah, and then out comes like this little bird thing that it's made of clocks and things like that. And Amaros will kind of stare at it for a second and then like let it go. And I'm going to attempt to project my will into it so I can see through it.
Okay. Do you have a move that allows you to do
Yeah,
this?
Deus Ex Machina. Ex Machina.
That's so good. That's such a good name. So please roll 2d6 plus judgment.
Yeah, let's hope. Okay, that was not so great. That was a 8.
That's still a hit. You can use the
Yeah.
object as if an expert were operating in it.
Yes. I do have divine intellect also, so I'd still be conscious.
You retain consciousness. Yes, you do.
Yeah.
So the little
So
bird flies up towards that bedroom window. Through it, you feel this sort of like shift as if it sort of like passes through a wall, or like this sort of like feeling of molasses as it flies up to the window. Within the window, you see Mr. Bovadier bed stricken, as if, and with his head turned to look at someone who is very conveniently obscured by curtains. But it seems to be a very friendly conversation. And then as they're talking, Mr. Bovadier will just like look up and go, "Oh," and like sort of like reach out to something.
can he see this something? Like, sorry, not this bird, but can Amaros, this creature, see the something?
I will say that you can. It looks like the spanning beauty of a cosmos that Mr. Bovadier is reaching out towards within this room.
Huh. Fascinating. I'm not sure how that would go.
And just as the bird is like sort of like trying to maybe look at something else, this beautiful violet ethereally, like this ethereal violet butterfly made out of magical energy just sort of like perches at the window and seemingly stares dead on to the bird.
I think Amaros inhabiting this kind of clockwork creature is very kind of like interested and fascinated on a level of this could have such applications for everything kind of, but is also like, yes, and will kind of tell Morrigan and Amara what he is seeing, but in a very kind
As
of
this magical butterfly is mean mugging you
yeah.
somehow, some way.
Oh, I mean, I think Amorous just is just like, oh, this is so interesting. Not kind of clocking the
Connecting the
yeah.
dots. And as you're describing, another butterfly perches beside it. And then another,
Oh,
and then another, and then another, until very slowly but surely the window is obscured.
ah. Well, so there's all of these. Co-
This myriad of butterflies made with magical energy obscures the view into the
yeah,
window.
yeah. I think they ramble on about the butterflies and the fascination of this, and but it's like, oh, yes, you mentioned the danger of it. Mr. Bovadier was enraptured with these things, and perhaps it's not something that a mortal should be interacting with. Perhaps we should. They say as they turn to Morrigan and kind of be like, maybe we should go inside or like investigate this further because I can't see anything anymore.
Is that normal for butterflies?
No, not at all. I have
Is it
book
normal for
on.
butterflies to be made of violet magical energy?
Yeah. And to swarm like that.
Dear listeners, you can't
I'd
see
say the
this, but
answer's
Caleb
no.
has but Caleb has just leaned back in their chair significantly and is cackling. You can hear the cackle, but I need to describe the element of him leaning back in the chair to do this.
I'm happy to know that I am testing your ability to keep a straight face today, Caleb.
Oh, once we get into it, it's gonna be full on emotions. I hope y'all are ready. So the three of you walk towards this very weird house?
Absolutely.
Yes, but at the
Absolutely.
same time, Amaros is back in the bag trying to find the book on butterflies to
I
talk
don't think
about.
Amara is fully aware that how weird this is, because Amara's still semi-new to mortality. The mortal realm is like, okay, it's weird. That's fine.
I love how Amara has this weird state as a demigod. That's just like, yeah, I grew up with my parent. Like, what's do y'all not? we watched.
Do you
I
go?
mean,
Do you like? I grew up on the moon. I don't know about the rest of you.
like we
It's
watched the
fine.
Umbrella Academy together.
Good,
Great
good.
reception for Netflix on the moon.
Yeah, absolutely.
So as the three of you step closer and closer to this home, one of you, I will say Amara, you bump into this young man with sort of like medium brown skin, sort of like very curly, big black hair with like sort of like very loose curls and like this sort of like violent streak of like what looks like auburn hair within the black curls. uh you kind of bump into him and he's just like, oh, sorry, and he just sort of like goes back to like sort of like looking at his watch and sort of like waiting outside the house for some reason.
Why are you looking at your watch?
Someone's in there and I'm waiting for them.
Why don't you go in?
Not my business.
Who are you waiting for?
Not your business.
Um, should I do this? No. Can I roll black hole stun?
Totally overreaction, Batman, but okay.
So you want to overwhelm a mortal's mind with the infinite vastness of the stellar background?
Yes.
You know what? Sure. Go right ahead. Ruin this person's night on Halloween.
That's really. Oh, that's. Okay, so that's a 6.
You deserve that. You deserve
So-
that. Your first impulse to just be fuck with a human.
Oh no, that's bad. I feel bad. No, I feel bad that I failed.
So there are options that say they either pass out or run for their life as far as they go. But in this instance, I will say that you know that it does not work. You see the cosmos in their eyes for just a moment. They blink and then they pull out their phone and just start because they got a text.
Oh.
You should probably get done with your business. They say, like, sort of like looking at their phone, texting someone. After all, the future's not waiting. Door's gonna be open, by the way.
What do you mean the future's not waiting?
They go back to texting and sort of like step away from you guys.
Right, right. Mr. Bovadier, uh, well, and he was in. Anyway, I guess Amaros is going to be like, okay, and will reach forward to open the door.
As you reach for it, the door cracks open. It
Huh.
is open, like this weird individual said.
Is it possible to kind of see anything from this person
How do you mean?
that we're going past? Like, this,
Like the vibe, like the like the
yeah,
aura.
yeah.
You know what? I will say roll 2d6 plus weird.
Okay, yeah.
Let's see if you get a little bit of aura sight.
I mean, I have zero weird, but I got a 10.
You can tell that they're not just immortal. They're not a demigod, but you see within their aura like these very branching paths like a tree. And Amaros, I don't know how connected you are with oracles and seers.
I, I think that Amaros is fascinated by the arts of, like, divining the future, but doesn't understand it whatsoever.
This is one of those diviners. And the reason but underneath it all, I will say since you got a 10, you do sense like this sort of like growing worry. Like how one would worry about a family member.
Can Well, we have our own appointment to keep, but can we do anything for you? Or I
One,
suppose you know.
once it's done, he'll get out of here, and we'll get out of here. So it'll be fine. Don't worry, you won't mess it up.
Thank you for the
Right.
vote of confidence.
And then we'll continue to. Sorry.
And Rose is just like, cool, backs away slowly.
Morgan is not like phased by this. This is pretty in her wheelhouse in terms of like, yes, morbid, cryptic, morbid thoughts about the future coming in. That sounds pretty par for the course for what we do.
Oh, like this guy is like dressed in like like kind of like the sort of like 90s sort of aesthetic, like flannel around the waist, like a messenger bag with like a camera in it. And they sort of look at you, Morgan, and go, you should probably say something. Never know when it's too late.
You're probably right.
I wonder if there's a coffee shop in this dead end town. And like they walk past, and as they do you still have your book open?
Yes.
A name starts to come alive on the pages. Aerith Harvell question mark.
I'm take it it's not common for a question mark to appear after the name in the book, is it?
It's happened before, I would say, with some exceptions to the whole concept of death. But maybe it's just like, we don't know the time of death yet. Come back later. Check back later.
I think both Amara and Amaros both hear Morgan say something effective. You know, I don't relish people dying, but it does make seeing things and understanding the afterlife much easier when they're just clearly dead. Like in between states aren't my favorite thing to have to deal with. I kind of just like knowing whether someone's alive or dead. It makes things a lot simpler.
Some someone's about to die.
Do you know
Like
when I'm going to
very
die?
like the most straight-faced expression. She just looks at you, looks at Amara, and just says, "Oh, I've always known."
Wait, we've
And then
met
just
before?
carries on. She
So y'all step into this
carries.
house.
Yeah, no. She's saying this while going into the house. Like she closes the book and walks into the house, but she just leaves Amara with, just leaves them
And
with
then
that
Amara's
statement of like,
like,
"I've always
wait,
known."
we've met before?
Like, I thought this was our first meeting still?
It cut to various flashbacks 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago. So as the three of you step into this house, the base floor of the home, it's a 2-story home. The base floor of this home, it's like you're walking into a pitch black void. Within it is a singular spotlight. You sort of hear the sound of like rain and like water running down surfaces, like running down a roof. And within the spotlight is this sort of like young man seated in a chair looking down.
Did we know Mr. Bovedier's son's name? Or
The grandson's name is Isaac.
are you Isaac?
They sort of look. He sort of like looks up at you, and like tears are streaming down his face. How'd you get in here?
It was open.
Oh, yeah. I guess it was. And you sort of hear the rumble of thunder in the distance, which is weird because you're in a house and there's not much distance.
Can I attempt to pierce the veil here and kind of see what's happening to this kid?
Go right ahead. Go for it.
Okay.
Pierce that veil, baby.
Oh dear. Oh, okay. That is a 7 on the dice and 8. So 8.
That's an 8.
Yep. Yep.
So ask 2 questions.
Yeah. Who is responsible for what is happening to Isaac?
I will ask a clarifying question in what sense?
Okay. In the sense that like okay, maybe I should ask a question before that like is I
Mm-hmm.
it's not really like do I believe that Isaac is human?
Yes, Isaac's mortal.
Yeah. Yeah. So all of this that is happening around Isaac and something is engineering it. So I guess I'm kind of wondering what not necessarily who like yeah, what is the driver behind all of this that seems to have frozen this kid in this
This
situation.
this dark room under a spotlight as the sounds of a storm is all around him as
Yeah.
he's crying.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the answer you want, but grief. sorrow, the idea of loss.
I'm going to assume that it's possibly in the last hour, given that that's when everything started happening.
Mm-hmm.
So, uh, I don't think I have another question that, like, I don't think I have that a follow up question to that.
That's okay.
But yeah.
He's very clearly crying. He's very clearly grieving something.
Yeah. I
But
think
within this space, you know that there's a second floor to this house. You don't know where the
yeah.
stairs are. He seems completely consumed by this. And whatever magic is happening here seems to have weaved in that strong emotion.
I I think Amaros is not so good at the people part of things,
Mm-hmm.
so is probably going to turn to Morgan because they depend on her. Like they've worked together for such a long time, and like they that really value her insight.
I think there's she normally keeps her face in a very neutral sort of expression that at times slightly leans over to the phrase that very loaded though it is very accurate to her, which is resting bitch face. It's she's somewhere between like no response and please leave me alone, and her face softens
Mm-hmm.
to a very gentle expression, and there's almost a look of sympathy for the soul in front of her, and I think she starts to walk forward and just call out to Isaac.
Here's an interesting question. As Morgan walks forward and Amaros and Amara watch her, what does Morgan's true self look like?
Morgan's?
Yeah, Morgan's true self. What does it look like in this moment?
Do you mean the bat self, or do you mean which aspect of her?
The
Just for
essence of
clarification.
who Morgan is as a person, as identified by whatever reality warping magic this is. Because if this is taking Isaac's grief and making it realized in this sort of very isolating room where he is alone, seen but still alone, what does that look like for Morgan?
I think
The the answer can be she does not change. That is an option.
no. I think I will give an answer. I think there is. It's it's akin to the way that I imagine banshees to be, but not in the stereotype kind of sense of like a screaming, weeping woman, but of a very almost like ghostly shade that is equal parts terrifying and beautiful. And I think there's almost like a veil over her, like her dress is almost akin to like a morning gown, like MOURNING morning gown, and also like a wedding gown. And I
Though the
think the
idea of a gown for just mornings is hilarious. Sorry, please.
you interrupting my moment, you can't sass bot.
We're dealing with some very deep emotion here. I gotta cut through it. And yes, the deep emotion is my fault.
You know what you caused for yourself. I'm just simply stirring the pot more. I didn't make it. I didn't fill it. But I
Gotta
think
get this gumbo of sadness.
gumbo. It's just prime material sadness here. I think her form, seen through the actual dress, is skeletal, but it's like a mix of like going in and out, like someone's taking a transparency meter or bar and just going back and forth on it, or acting like a knob on a volume for volume control and just turning it up and down. But as she goes back and forth between the self that looks more humanoid, it shifts to a very bat-like creature, to where like her hands, even as they're coming together, just to sort of like very tenderly look with like gothic morbid graceness to it. You can sort of see the strands of
Hmm.
like almost leathery wings underneath her arms walking towards Isaac.
Isaac sort of looks up at you and understands something just intrinsically. And for just a moment, the rain the rain slows, but the thunder crashes just a bit louder before the storm starts to fade away. This is really it, isn't it? He's really gonna.
Oh, child.
And Isaac sort of just like looks down. He's upstairs if you want to see him. And the spotlight sort of grows from Isaac, becoming a bit warmer rather than that cold, bright white light. The features of the living room start to become a bit more into focus. They were there this entire time. And at the back is the staircase.
I think in um, in his discomfort a little with the situation, is going to inch towards that staircase in a kind of, I don't really have a place here in this. Like, don't know what to say, don't know what to do, so just gonna move on.
And I will say, as the spotlight expands and then fades into just this normal room light, Morgan appears back to normal. As Amaros is just like inching towards the
Yeah.
staircase. Amara, what are you doing?
I think Amara is kind of just standing silently by, not entirely sure what to do with the grief and the sadness. Curious about the stairs, but just kind of waiting behind silently for Morrigan to finish before kind of tugging them along, or tugging her along.
If we have time for it very quickly, Caleb, would it be possible for Morgan to pull out her book and look towards Isaac and say, "You feel like you didn't do enough for him, don't you?" And she looks towards the book and tries to see, using her ability of what has been to see his guilt or deepest regret on a specific subject.
Let me go ahead and roll that 2d6 plus judgment, baby.
Okay, 1 second.
And since you have the Book of the Dead, you will also have a clear idea of the best way to help this person clear their conscience.
That is 6 plus 2, so that is 8. So I get a sense of their guilt, but nothing specific.
I think it's that form of guilt that we all have when something sudden happens and we think we could have done more, we should have done more, even when we're doing all that we can. And that's mostly what Isaac is feeling right now. Because as you look into your book and as you see like the life story of Isaac, like he was there almost like he moved out here to be with his grandfather. He like they had a very good life. They have a very good life here. Like there was no feeling of resentment or anything. It's just full on love. And I'm sorry that with this fun ooky spooky one shot we're getting into emotions, and I'm sorry.
Oh, the terror. Kaleb running a game that has
Me.
emotions. I'm so surprised.
Oh my
Me.
god.
Oh, it's gonna be light and fun and ooky spooky. Also me. So grief's a bitch, huh?
Do you run games without grief?
I
Oh no,
do.
throw my hands up and say, oh,
I do
I
run.
didn't do the same.
I do run games without grief.
Oh, so okay, so it's just me and Angela who are playing in all the games where you keep feeling grief. You're just doing this to Angela and I. This is targeted harassment.
One of y'all chose to be death.
This is true. Angela!
You
Don't
wanted
act like you
Celestial,
weren't
so I couldn't
considering
get
it.
Celestial.
No, you took Reaper and then I said I'll do Celestial then.
I wanted Celestial.
So what you're saying is that this was inevitable.
Yes, actually,
So
yes.
the best way that you can help Isaac in this moment is just a hug. The boy needs a hug.
Yeah, she offers a hug. She gives it very softly, and she also
He takes it. He takes the hug and he is just weeping.
Morgan gives him a hug, and then also she keeps like these tiny little packets of like pressed flowers in her purse, and
I
she
didn't know
keeps a
where that was
specific.
going. I thought you were about to hand. I thought you were about to hand this grieving man some candy. Happy Halloween.
Your grandpa just is about to die. By the way,
Your grandpa died. Have a
here's a Kit
butterscotch
Kat or
to remind
butterscotch.
you of your grandpa died. Have a butterscotch to remind you of your grandfather, because old people like butterscotch, right?
So you want this king size Snickers?
No,
So these little packets of pressed flowers.
yeah, she gives him one specifically. She sets aside for these moments, and she gives him one that has marigolds in it.
Mm.
And then she walks over to Amaros, slowly slinking away in awkwardness. It's like, I think he'll be fine. It is what it is.
I think whilst that was happening, Amaros had paused and was looking on, and there was this kind of. There's very much a look of. Oh, she always knows what to do. This like there's a lot of admiration and thing there, but you didn't see it. You didn't see it because it's gone by the time you get over there.
That's for the audience.
Mm-hmm.
So the staircase is y'all's. I assume like Amara just like, pardon me, excuse me. I just and just walking past. Excuse me, your house is lovely. Pardon me. So
Amara doesn't come. I think Amara just walks over. Like,
the staircase is yours.
is the staircase real? Can I
Yes,
test if it's okay?
it's a very real staircase.
Good. Good. Good.
Do y'all walk up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As soon
Do
as you
it.
get to the top of the stairs, you feel the sound. You feel and hear the sound of grass underneath your steps. It's this the hallway leading to the rooms of this top floor is like this long winding field of like night blooming jasmine and moonflowers and these beautiful gorgeous dark florals as a young woman just stands beside a door, arms folded, sort of like shaking her head, and she sort of turns to look at you three. Are you with the purple-haired guy in there?
I have no idea who he is. What's your name?
Katie. So
Oh,
So
I'm Amara.
podcast, everyone waves at each
I think Amara at that moment remembers you're supposed to give your name and goes, I'm Amara.
so what are you three supposed to be?
That's a very heavy question.
other. I think at that point, Amaros is kind of like, oh, he had brings out this necklace.
As soon as her eyes fall on it, the the moon over this field of flowers gets obscured by a cloud.
Oh.
I, he had ordered
It I
this, but
I understand. You might want to get it to him as soon as possible.
yes,
And on like closer inspection, it's very clear that she has been crying, but she does look older than Isaac. Like when Isaac is in like his maybe early 20s, like late teens, Katie is in her mid 30s. She sort of
okay,
just sort
so
of like folds her arms across her chest and excuse me. And she just sort of like walks past you both down the stairs, and as she does, the florals fade and the hallway becomes normal.
Was she? The moon's gone.
You look up towards the moon, and it's just the ceiling of the house.
Is there a way to see if she is human?
She's mortal.
She's more okay.
I I think I mean I've not seen this kind of projection before, but I think more the way that things are manifesting in this space is more to do with what's happening in the that room than the people in the house.
It's lingering after them though, so it could be something traces upon them, whatever person or creature has the magic or whatever's causing this. clearly put like
Amaros, do you take a look at the necklace that you created? You would know these details, but do you take a closer look?
Um, I think that in Katie kind of saying you should get it to him quickly or like as soon as possible, he Amaris has definitely kind of looked down at it and kind of
It is probably the most
himself.
intricate design that you've ever done.
Mhm.
It's a locket of a heart, but instead of having like as it opens, instead of having like pictures, there are like these sort of swirling little gyros of names, places, dates. And as both sides are fully held open, two names, the names and dates within them follow a very certain sequence.
Mhm.
Richard and Esmeralda, forever and always, love eternal, beside you forever.
Mhm.
You know that it is Mr. Richard Bovadier.
Uh, hmm. I think he can intuit some of it, but perhaps not all, in the sense that it's very much like he to create it, he had to understand, at least somewhat in the abstract, the feeling and emotion that was supposed to like bring it all together. But and that he's definitely incorporated into this piece. But the kind of the whole, oh well, she's gone, so he will leave to be with her possibly.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something that is it's just kind of occurring but not fully connecting in that.
And at that moment, you realize, looking at this, that when Mr. Bovadier made the order, he never said it was for him.
Mhm.
He said it was for Isaac. But Katie has asked you to show it to him as soon as
Yeah.
possible.
So I think um Amaris gives a very deep sigh and kind of I think there's another door in front of him, or is it a hallway that he needs to go
There is a door that Katie was standing beside.
down? Okay. So he will then reach to open that
The
also.
door opens, and within it is a simple bedroom, posters of Paris and Toronto and all these places that Richard must have been. And you hear the words, "Could you show me to her? Could you show me her one more time, old friend?" And then a voice, with their back to you, Mr. Bovadier is in his bed, sort of like in like very comfortable clothing. The pillows are there. He's very comfortable. He's sort of like reached out to his friend, like grabbing this sort of. But Richard looks to be about like 85, maybe a bit older, like in the later stages of his life. But the hand of the person that he is holding can't be any older than 26. They are dressed very smartly in this like deep violet button up with a black vest that has stitching and embroidery reminiscent of eyes. Just like not like creepy like eyeballs, but like sort of like an all-seeing eye, like a third eye, like just around like the edges, like sort of like black pinstripe pants, like, and this sort of like phone in his back pocket that's sort of like buzzing, but he's ignoring it. He has this sort of like very long, loosely curled violet hair, like this deep dark purple. And on his face is like this sort of like soft smile, and he just says, "You know, I can't do that, Richard. It's not going to compare to the real thing." I know, I know, Ty. I just, I. What if she looks at me and says, "Oh, you got old, Richard"? You're going to look fine. And all of you can see that whoever this Ty is, they are inches from crying. Like it's this feeling that it's just that moment between the two. Richard looks over at you and goes, "Oh, you must be the inventor I spoke to on the phone." And like this big smile as the background of this room changes from the cosmos to this bright sunny day with all these like rainbows and like clear blue sky.
Tentatively and well, no, a bit hesitantly. That's supposed to Amaros will say, "Yes, yes. You commissioned this piece. Now, I understand it wasn't for you, but your um, granddaughter or uh, wants
It's
you
it's
to."
it's for my grandson.
Yes, yes. No, I mean, Katie. She was by the door. So instead of talking, keeping on talking, he will just kind of hold it out to Richard.
Richard like reaches and holds it within his hands, opens it, and sees a sequence of names and dates and places. And just this big smile comes across his face. It's beautiful. Thank you. You notice that Ty sort of looks at the names and he sees Esmeralda and that tear falls.
I I think that quite possibly at the same time, like Amaros has also kind of started tearing up a little bit because deeply for them, what matters in their passion for their work is how each piece speaks to the person that it was made, not necessarily for or commissioned by. It's very intrinsic to what they do and how their almost connection to the things that they create um, manifests very much in the how it is received in
Mm-hmm.
that same way, and it's kind of getting that it's suddenly kind of feeling that same emotion almost, and that's understanding a little bit.
Richard looks at it just for a moment longer before handing the necklace back to you, Amaros. And then Richard looks at you, Morgan. Well, I had a bit more time.
Regrettably, I don't always make for good company.
Oh, that's all right. I'm bad at small talk,
So am
as my
I.
old friend can attest. And he keeps calling this Ty his old friend. But Ty looks so many years younger than this man.
Can we?
We pierce the
So
veil.
all of this kind of reality warping thing is clearly very much to do with Ty
Yes.
and the effect that they he it is having on the environment in this space. Is it possible to see what Richard sees at the same time
Oh,
as in it?
you can see it on the backgrounds of the walls of the room. Like as soon as he saw the gift, like he saw you, like, oh hi, like, oh cool, new people, like the sun's shiny day, other than this cosmos. And as he held the necklace, just this fall of rose petals on a Parisian sunset.
Sorry, I meant how he sees time.
Oh,
Is it
it's very clear that he sees Ty as this young man as well.
okay?
Whatever magic Ty is working, it is not obscuring Ty's form.
Amaros is not going to address the elephant in the room. It's not happening.
Let's not talk to this weird magic person. Let's like,
Or at least, let's not break the moment by talking to this weird magic person.
oh, Ty, could you? It's in the bedside table, and Ty sort of opens the bedside table, and there's this envelope labeled to you, Amaros. Your payment for this beautiful thing. Ty hands it out to you.
He will reach forward for it, but in a kind of. Is there any way to try and glean something from Ty in that kind of when he goes to take this envelope, this touch of like I don't know if there's like a touch of skin that happens or is it possible to glean anything from this about Ty? I don't have a move that I think
I
would
will
work.
say if Morgan is willing to open her book, roll it with fate's roll 2d6 plus weird with fate's favor.
Me or Mark?
The question is, Morgan, do you have your book open?
Yes.
Oh,
My
Yes.
question would almost be to pierce the veil
okay.
as well.
Okay, so I would say, you know what? That's very fair. That's a very fair point, Theta. Roll 2d6 plus judgment with fate's favor since Morgan has her book open.
I don't know how Fate's Favor actually affects my
You
roll.
roll
3d6.
3d6 and take the two highest.
Okay.
I had to look it up too. No worries.
Oh no.
No, I got 2 3s and a 1, so by one.
You got a
But
threat.
it's 7.
Okay, it's still a success. It's still a success.
Yeah.
You can ask 2 questions.
When
I will say for this, you are not constrained by that list.
okay, it's like, what is this person? What is this person?
Ty, you look and sort of study Ty as you take the envelope, and sort of glancing at Morgan's book, it says, and I will type the name in the chat: Ty Evans, exception, implying that Ty may or may not be beholden to death.
Uh-huh. Okay. And I guess my second question is, what? When did they come to be? Like,
When did they come to be?
so clearly this person Ty has this reality warping effect that is also completely separate from the same natural order that all these mortals are, and so it's kind of is. I don't know that when do they come to be is really the right question either. It's very much
Mm-hmm.
like,
As you're pondering, as if the camera is like looking in on the scene, Ty sort of looks at it and goes, "I know it's a bit of a toughie." Before looking back at Amaros,
uh, I don't know. I think it's one of those things that Amaros is like, I have to look this up in a very much like in a very much kind of, I I've never seen this before, but it is fascinating and brain breaking, and maybe research is is something that he must do. So no further questions again.
Ty just sort of gives you like a warm smile, as if like sort of like getting back that stage presence. As the two of you, Ambrose and Morgan, and Amara, if you want to as well, you see the name Richard Bovadier minutes.
Amaros will step back and taking the payment and the locket, and kind of almost steps aside for Morrigan.
Before I go, young miss, if I may, Ty, how's your godson? He came with you, didn't he? Yes, he did, but he wanted to give me the space. He's very bright, that one. His father's rather nice. Tell Cherish I will tell her something. I will. And Ty just sort of gives Richard's hand another pat and a squeeze. Goodbye, old friend. And Ty sort of like the butterflies seem to follow him and disappear around him as he walks out of the room. And as he walks out of the room, it seems that whatever magic that was used to give comfort to an old friend, to show him the cosmos, to show him these places, with the unintended after effects of the emotional landscapes of his grandchildren, has faded. And it is just the three of you with Richard Belvedere. Y'all, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm so sorry. This was meant to be
Don't be,
fun,
it's
and
so
here I am
beautiful.
crying in the
Yeah,
chat.
I'm gonna say you're taking the most emotional damage from this, I think, out of... You're still crying.
It's so beautiful, though.
It's beautiful.
Death isn't easy, and
No.
gosh. Whew.
I mentioned I lost my
This
mom
was
only a
supposed
couple
to be
years
fun.
ago.
Yours? Oh.
I think grief is something that is very present for a lot of people.
And it's really hot in this room. Here I am crying. It's hot in this room.
I
So
think
it is the three of... I'm keeping that in. I'm keeping it in.
I see no reason to get rid of it.
Yeah.
I think Morgan gives like one more moment of if Amara wanted to add in anything before Morgan does her thing. Because I think I have something in mind for Morgan, but I don't know. I wanted to give room for Theta in case they had any other things that they wanted to do in this moment.
You could try Black Hole Stun on Ty.
Alright, everyone falling about with laughter.
I swear I will not do it.
I mean, if you do it, I'll just give it to you at this moment.
That's so tempting.
Do it.
Okay, I
Full
guess.
force. Just like roll that 2d6.
Sure, I'll do it. I think I guess Samara kind of looks at Ty, kind of just narrows their eyes and I guess tries to shift the universe, like shift this scenery back from a sunny day to the moon and stars, which I think to Amara at least there is some association of sunniness with the like people always like, oh well, light sheds like when you have sun, when you have light, it sheds the light on the truth, and in Amara's mind it's blinding and hides truths. And so I think they try to pull the scene into this evening as they kind of just look. I rolled very well. That's a 12.
So, as Ty is walking, just as he gets to the doorway, the light of the full moon just shines upon him. And he goes, "Oh, well, that's a little different."
Sorry, that's my fault.
You can ask any 2 questions.
I can ask any 3 because I have divine presence.
Hey! So ask those 3 questions, BB.
What questions do we have for Ty then?
No, yeah, any three questions.
I know, I'm asking the other 2 as well. What questions do we have for Ty in this moment?
What are you?
I don't think Amara's as concerned with that is the thing.
Hmm. What is the history here?
Okay, I think Amara will ask what is the history here. Then.
Ty looks at you, Amara, and goes, "Before I got settled in Blackbrook, Washington, Richard Belvedere was one of the few people that showed me kindness. And I returned it in kind when he asked."
Um, do you have any questions, Angela?
I think that one might have answered the only one I had, which was, are you here for your own enjoyment or to provide comfort? It was mainly a like trying to get intent
Okay.
kind of question,
Yeah, I
but I
guess.
don't
Oh
think
well,
it
that answers it.
necessarily applies as much.
Mm. Um, do we want to ask that? Like, are you here for
I mean, that can count as one of the
whatever?
questions if y'all
Uh,
want.
okay. I'm going to give a question to each person. So, Angela,
Okay.
let's go question.
When that question is asked, Ty's features soften, and he goes, "Comfort. He's an old friend of mine. I don't have many left."
And then I'll use mine to ask. I'm trying to think how to phrase this because I don't want to ask a yes or no question because the question in my mind is a yes or no question.
Okay.
What comfort or help can I give you in this moment? You
At
have,
that
after all, just lost a friend.
at that, Ty just sort of like gives this very world weary, but this sort of like you see the age now as he just smiles at you and goes, "Take care of yourselves out there. The world's a scary place. And if you're ever in Washington, at midnight, tune in to a certain frequency and you'll hear my voice." He just smiles, sort of like bows his head a moment, and walks out of the room.
Um, I think I think at that point, uh, Morgan walks forward, and if there's a chair in the room, because he's sitting up against a bed, correct? She will sit
Yes.
in the chair right next to him, and she will say, "Do you have any pain?"
"Oh no, young miss. I'm okay. No need to worry about old me."
That is not within your purview of choice, my friend.
"I'm quite all right. Thank you for asking."
Do you have regrets?
"No, I don't think I do. I lived my life how I wished and loved my Esmeralda with all my heart and loved Katie and Isaac. I got to see all I wanted to see. No regrets here."
Do you wish to see anything else before the end? Something that you felt has faded over time, or something that you feel would have been worth seeing at least one more time?
He sort of like up for a moment, thinking about it, before he goes, cherry blossoms. Esmeralda loved cherry blossoms.
I think if it is possible, Caleb, I would like to try and bend fate in this moment.
You can have it. You can have it. I'm not going to ask you to roll. You can have it.
I
Describe
think,
what you want to do.
yeah, I think she opens up the book, and the sort of duality of the book is that while it speaks to moments that lead or that tell the story of someone's death, it also tells it also kind of captures the ends of memories, and so memories can be pulled from which to draw strength and reflection. And so I think there's a moment of her, for a moment, taking on that form again that was shown down below, and just sort of pulling from what is the account of Mr. Belvedere's life and going to a memory of cherry blossoms and just letting it sort of fill the room, just scatter all across the walls, sort of paint them as though a loved one was there, creating a canvas and decorating it as only an artist would know, and that for however long he needs to look at them, they're there, and as the end approaches, they slowly transition into marigolds to mark the end of his life.
As this canvas is painted within this room, within this moment, you hear the sounds of Nashville. Because little known, I don't know if it's a little known fact, but there is a cherry blossom festival in Nashville. I've been to it several times. And as those cherry blossoms fade into marigolds, we fade to black. And we fade back in with the three of you outside of the Belvedere home. Gift given to Isaac. As you walk out, you see Ty being hugged tightly by his godson, Aerith. But as soon as you three step out, Ty immediately composes himself, wipes away the tears, and just gives you a small wave. And Aerith goes, told you guys wouldn't mess it up. As we resume this Halloween night, are there any final moments that we would like to have with these three demigods? Getting a few shaken heads. Yes?
I if if there's a last sort of image, I might be allowed to leave. For imagining the audience like viewing this whole scenario with the camera, like from bit to end, I would like to think that Morgan just as they're walking out of the household, just moves a bit closer to Amaros and doesn't say anything, but does offer, just sort of indicates, like, very almost shyly, of like wanting to hold her, if they wouldn't mind holding her hand.
Amaros, it's more than happy to. Like, of course.
That's all.
And as the three of you walk
And
out, two of you hand in hand. Yes, so sorry.
sorry, no. As he takes your hand, he will smile at you, and this kind of, it's okay, like, and then kind of continue on as blankly as normal.
As we pull out of this scene, we'll call an end to this emotionally draining one shot, and I'm so sorry. I swear to you, it was not supposed to be this way. But then my brain's like, wait, one of them's playing death. Wouldn't it be like, what if a haunted house is just someone's grief? And I'm like, oh no. But I have been Kaleb Wade. I've been your herald this evening. I'm so glad there's no video because I have been crying this entire time. Oh, goodness. I'd like to introduce to you once more my three lovely players who have put up with my bullshit. Let's start with our late arrival, Theta.
Hi, I'm Theta. I was playing Amara, the daughter of Chang'e. Yeah, you can find me at social media, on social media. Bing Su Jung. I can speak English.
No, just find Theta at social media.
Yeah, find me at social media. It's fine.
It's fine. It's totally fine.
I randomly appear. I've been told that by some people that like people I know that they're like, you just randomly are in places and it seems like you're everywhere. So honestly, it might work. Just you can summon me out of nowhere.
Just have a poster on the wall that just has the words at social media. It's like, it's time.
You just have to like say something incorrect about space. I promise I'll be there. It'll be to fuck you up, but I'll be there.
So about Pluto, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
You wanna fight, Kaleb?
No, actually, I'm very emotionally vulnerable at the moment. Lola.
Me?
Yes.
Oh, me? Yes, I am Lola. I have been playing Amaros, my beautiful, vague, clueless, everything artisan demigod. And you can find me, Lola, at Third Yarns pretty much everywhere. I can't promise to be always present there, though. Yeah.
And last but certainly not least, Angela.
Hello there, lovelies. I'm the reason that Caleb is now currently going through tons of emotional damage, of their own choosing and of their own design, I might add. You can find me in a lot of different places, actually. You can find a lot of my game designs and writing over on both Patreon at Philosophem and also over on itch.io at Voice of the Phoenix. And if you want to see some of the work that I'm going to be involved in curating in the near future, you can catch me as the director of operations over at Girls Write These Worlds, which is the publishing house wing of the Girls Run These Worlds streaming channel, where we are going to have our first ever zine published. We're looking at a date of January 19th, our first zine of Rebirth / New Beginnings. and I am currently, and I'm going to be running very soon. Probably by the time this comes out, it'll be past, but or might still be in the swing of things. Monster Care Squad on the same channel as well, in a world of my own creation that I haven't gotten to run in a long time, in its revamped form. So I'm really excited to see what the future has in store.
Thank you so much for joining this really sad one shot. That's all my fault. And oh, I guess I should say something about what I'm doing because I am also doing things. We are about to record the second season of Chronomantic Actual Plays in November. It's going to be our Henshin season in the same fictionalized United States, the same United States we were in this one shot, actually. A big place in that mythos was mentioned tonight. So yeah, we might see Ty someplace else. We don't know. I am also kind of in the process of making a Powered by the Apocalypse game. More details to come, but it is inspired by Bayonetta and Devil May Cry. And mayhaps you'll get to see it, mayhaps you won't. I've also been in the process of making some episode write-ups for my Riverdale podcast that I'm revamping, called the Riverdale Rumor, in which the new format is that I explain a plot of a Riverdale episode randomly selected. It's funny because the first episode is a season 3 episode, and the second episode is going to be the pilot. Where I go character by character explaining this plot of an episode to someone who has never watched Riverdale or hasn't watched Riverdale in a time, and they have to guess which one I'm lying about because I get to lie to you. It's going to be super fun once I get all that handled. We're probably going to start recording that in January. So thank you so much for listening. And until next time, have a happy Halloween.
Happy Samhain!
Happy Halloween!
Happy Samhain, happy Halloween. Have some cider and watch something happy. Please watch something happy. Oh, bye.
Bye.
Bye!
Bye.
Whew. Well, that was emotional. I literally trying to edit this, I cried. I'm just an emotional person. But you know what's not emotional? The outro. Thank you for listening to Being a Nocturnal Soul, our 2022 Halloween Demigods one-shot for Chronomantic Actual Plays. This one-shot was recorded in Riverside.fm and edited in Audacity. This podcast is produced, edited, and heralded by Kaleb Wade, your witchy host who's down to meet a ghost. Our performers for this one-shot were Theta-chan, Angela Morovejo, and Lola. Links to where you can find everyone will be in the description below. We are ramping up to record Season 4 of Chronomantic Actual Plays, so keep your eyes peeled for new episodes soonish, including a winter holiday episode coming really soon, starring the one character that wasn't in the Season 3 finale. It's wild. And above all else, remember, you are loved and not alone.